There's been a variety of changes to U.S. import duties and tariffs in 2025. Let's get you caught up. Recall that tariff knowledge is what gives you true insight into entry costs. Today, we're reviewing anti-dumping and countervailing duties, Section 232 and 301 tariffs, and the tariff expansions under the current executive administration. Okay, so here we go. Anti-dumping and countervailing duties. These are extra duties specifically designed to combat unfair trade practices. Investigations and official AD/CVD orders are the responsibility of the U.S. Department of Commerce and the International Trade Commission. Anti-dumping duties are applied when foreign manufacturers sell goods in the U.S. below fair market value and are meant to protect domestic industries from being undercut. Countervailing duties target products that foreign government subsidies reduce the price for. Either or both can be reviewed annually, so staying to date is vital. Both types of duties are in addition to general HTS-assigned duties. They can be product or case-specific, or they apply to certain countries or even companies. When combined, they often exceed the item's value. Next are Section 232 and Section 301 tariffs. These are broader policy tools authorized under established acts or laws. Section 232 tariffs are authorized under the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 and recommend tariffs based on national security concerns. Investigations can be started by the Secretary of Commerce, private petitions, or the President. Imports that have been officially investigated and their applied tariffs under this rule currently include 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum, 25% on passenger vehicles, and 25% on automotive parts. Section 301 tariffs are authorized under the Trade Act of 1974 and recommend tariffs to address unfair trade practices. At the moment, these apply primarily to products from mainland China. Investigations are started by the U.S. Trade Representative or industry petitions. Nearly all products imported from China have Section 301 tariffs applied upon entry to the U.S. The required fee typically ranges from 7.5% to 25% ad valorem, but can go as high as 100%. There are also a limited number of products excluded from these tariffs, but only on a temporary basis. No new laws or legislation are required to increase or change how current 232 or 301 tariffs are applied. Just the authority of the President. Like AD/CVDs, these 232 and 301 tariffs can be charged in addition to a product's HTS assigned duty rate. For our final section, 2025 tariff expansions. Under the current administration, the U.S. has introduced new reciprocal and country-specific measures. Up first, Mexico and Canada, two nations that currently have a free trade agreement with the U.S. in the form of the USMCA. Through a few different presidential executive orders, the following import tariffs currently apply. 25% ad valorem fee on automobiles and auto parts that do not meet USMCA origin rules. 25% on any goods other than energy-related products from Canada and potash, which are charged 10%. There is an upside, however. Any goods that do meet USMCA origin standards can still enter the U.S. duty-free, including automotive parts. Percentage-wise, this includes about 38% of the products that typically enter from Canada and 50% of the products imported from Mexico. A second series of executive orders applied a country-specific tariff on China. Currently, the flat rate is at 20%, and the order also requires this to be applied to low-value shipments, which have entered duty-free under de minimis provisions in the past. Moving on to what the President referred to as Liberation Day tariffs. These take the form of reciprocal tariffs. These are tariffs meant to match what other countries impose on U.S. exports. Applied literally, reciprocal tariffs would look like this. If country X charges 40% on U.S. pork, the U.S. now applies a 40% tariff on pork from country X. At the moment, the U.S. is simply charging a flat rate of 10% to all trading partners, no matter the import. There is a list of countries that have been threatened with higher tariffs, but these are currently paused. As something of a courtesy, Mexico and Canada have been excluded from the 10% reciprocal flat rate. The other exception to the 10% rate is China, only it goes in the opposite direction. Continued tensions between the PRC and the U.S. has resulted in extra tariffs being applied. The reciprocal rate applied to China now sits at 125%. Reciprocal tariffs are also being applied in addition to HTS assigned duties. Having so many tariffs that apply in addition to general rates of duty has resulted in an issue known as tariff stacking. Such an issue can easily cause import duties to exceed 100% of the product's value. This is especially true of imports from China, which are subject to a much higher flat rate even before special tariff circumstances like AD/CVDs come into play. Since this is the case, knowing your product's HTS code as well as where exactly the product is from are going to be critical for accurate duty calculation. This is where a customs brokerage's expertise and connections are invaluable. What else can they do? Find out next.